What's up, everyone? Just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Germ Spider Designs. Check him out at facebook.com/germspiderdesigns. He does what he calls infected toys, as well as some awesome horror artwork of varying designs. So check him out. He does these little biters, and of course he created Horrific Harry and Scare Bear, who is unfortunately babysitting the other room right now. So check him out. But without further ado, here's our review of The Bye-Bye Man.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the horror show. I'm Marcia Parker.
I'm Brittany Lee.
I'm Fuego here.
I'm Cecil Laird, and we're back for another in-theater review, although this is going to go up about a day in advance or so. We just got back from The Bye-Bye Man.
Bye-Bye Man.
Starring a bunch of young kids, a couple of older folks, and Doug Jones as the titular Bye-Bye Man.
And 5 minutes of Carrie Ann Moss.
That as well, yeah. Well, 5 minutes of Faye Dunaway as well, apparently. So,
Yeah.
So basically, what we're going to do is our usual thing. We're going to talk about story. We're going to talk. Well, first we're going to talk about our overall thoughts. Then we're going to hit story. Then we'll hit whatever naturally comes, whether it be effects, music, cinematography, what have you. We're going to try and hit a little bit of all of it. So, let's start real quick going through what we thought. I was unfortunately disappointed. While interestingly, in my opinion, I was interested the whole way. However, overall, I was disappointed in the movie. Fuego?
Same here, man. It was trying so hard to be like the new Freddy, to be a new iconic
New
killer.
Candyman, for sure.
Yeah, Candyman maybe even more so. I mean, I love the look, and we can get into that, but just I don't know, the mythology was kind of spotty, and it started out very strongly, and then it just lagged, and the ebb and flow of the momentum just it couldn't sustain itself, and it got illogical quite often, and I will get to that later.
Brittany?
It was interesting throughout the entire thing. I was watching it the whole time. There was never a moment where I was like, but it was slightly predictable. As
Agreed.
Yeah.
I felt that the movie really fell between the first trailer reaction and the second trailer reaction, like right in the center, which I want to say it would be disappointing because it was one of the ones I was looking forward to 2017, but at the same time I wasn't as disappointed as I have been in other movies, so good job.
Kinda.
So
Yeah.
basically, the idea is very clear from the trailers if you guys have watched it. But what wasn't clear is necessarily who was the main character from the trailers. And it does happen to be the guy that was featured, whose eyes go weird in the trailer, which never happens in the movie, incidentally. And we're going to keep this spoiler-free. But that kid is the main character of the movie.
That kid.
He and his girlfriend and his closest friend, they all move into a rundown house that I'm assuming they are getting a deal on, and
Yeah, it's huge. How can
Yeah.
they afford that?
College
this-
college students affording like this
Right.
5-bedroom, 2-story.
but it was run
fully
down and
furnished.
stuff had happened, so
Yeah.
obviously they got some kind of deal. Whether they investigated or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Check your brain in
But
the
I do
door.
I do want to eventually get around to the acting, but
Okay.
but basically they get in and pretty quickly we see that the main character finds a little end table that has a coin that keeps sort of moving around, and he eventually makes his way and discovers something that says don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, in this weird spiral pattern. But underneath he sees the Bye-Bye Man. Again, all this is in the trailer, so we're not spoiling anything. But what happens next is that the Bye-Bye Man cometh, essentially. And he starts... Everyone that hears the name starts to experience and see weird things, and this main character... Essentially, when I said Candyman earlier, it's not a joke. It is very much the same, where the lead actress in that heard Candyman and sort of tracked down what his story was and got embroiled. This happens with this kid as well. He hears about the Bye-Bye Man, he's a skeptic at first, but eventually he has no choice but to believe, and so he tries to figure out what the Bye-Bye Man is and how to stop it before they all die.
it's even the same amount of syllables. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that's the story in a nutshell. So let's talk about our thoughts on the story. I thought, again, it was interesting to me. I basically wanted to see how it was going to resolve. It wasn't because any of the characters were particularly interesting, although I did really like the acting of the lead character. How dare you? I like the acting of the lead character, but overall, you know, and that's the thing. I thought it was actually a really strong first third. The first third, actually, I was really into. It was good. I was like, their character building. I'm sort of invested in these relationships. Like, they did a pretty good job with the quick setup that most horror movies can often fumble. So that's my overall thought. I thought the story was, Brittany hit it, overall predictable, underutilizing a particular character, namely the Bye-Bye Man, and that...
the point of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll get to that later, but Fuego, your thoughts?
Yeah, story once again, cliched through and through, and yet, you know, decent performances, which we can get to later, actually elevated the source material, I thought, a little bit. Kind of intriguing mythology. It was slightly unique in that fact. I liked how they tied back how far it went back. I liked how they made it kind of a viral thing, and the fact that you couldn't even, you know, say it or think it. And I know that's, you know, that's common in all of the ad material, you know, that we've seen. So everybody knows that, but that was at least kind of cool that it spread so quickly in that facet. It could go to anybody. It wasn't like a pre-calculated, you know, like, oh, I'm going to go after this person or this person. Everyone was fair game. So, I mean, that was kind of cool. But
Supernatural virus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, basically. But, yeah, it lagged so bad, especially, I mean, the first 2/3 for me were okay, but the final act, I was just, I was yawning by the third act. I was like, okay, this unfortunately is embodying everything I feared this movie was going to, especially coming out in January. So, yeah, that's about what it boiled down to, if I can't spoil anything.
Britt.
As far as story goes, I mean, I think everybody's pretty much covered it, and I don't know what else I can add.
No, that's fair. That's fair. We'll get to the acting.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So I think it's interesting that you guys are saying, oh, it's so cliche, which I kind of understand because there are movies that fall in this line, like the Candyman's, and I got a little bit of, I don't know why, Final Destination in
I got
my
that
head.
too, though.
And
Yeah,
I think it
totally
might have
did.
been the train aspect, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they didn't really explain anything.
No.
And that's kind of like with Candyman. The first one, you don't really get a lot of his backstory. The second one is when you learn everything, which...
Farewell to the flesh.
Right. So like, maybe they're going to go that route. But at the same time, the stuff that they did reveal really was just kind of like, okay, what does this mean? Like, oh, yes, his name is in a couple places, but it's so random that it would have even come out. Because even in the house... had nothing to do with the main storyline or how he came involved with the other characters that drove it. It's like, why is this stuff here? Why? Because he actually started appearing before they even said his name. So that was one thing that I didn't understand. They didn't explain much. Maybe it was the ghost, like, bringing it out, but why would that happen?
Really?
Because the coins would drop and the little girl.
Well,
and
but
then
he didn't actually appear.
The dog did.
The dog did, you're right.
The dog did.
We'll get to the dog.
The coins, which they even said the coin. Once you hear the coins, that means that he's near.
Close, yeah.
So I
True.
mean, yes, logic, it wasn't quite there, but I felt like they could have done better if they maybe slowed it down a little bit. They were trying to feed us too much too fast, which made it come a little flat and illogical.
Yeah, if I can interject, I feel like they were hoping for a series with this, and so that's why they held back on explaining his mythology a little bit more. So, like, where did he come from? What's his, what's his motive? Why is he here? Why does he want to torment? I mean, I guess evil doesn't necessarily have to be explained. I mean, the utmost evil just does it because it's, that incarnate,
But even,
insanity or whatever.
But even in Candyman, there was a backstory. It was rumors in the ghetto, and they had his...
Candyman blows this away.
Well, yeah, it does,
Through and
for
through.
sure. Candyman's one of my favorites, and that's why I was excited about this movie, because I was like, oh, cool, another Candyman, but without, candy, I don't know. But it just... there wasn't anything that grabbed you from him, really.
No.
Like, I think
No,
Doug
I
Jones
agree.
did a
Let's
good
just
job.
get into that then, because
Yeah.
it's as good a time as any. I think, and this is what I actually told, because this was an early screening we got to see, and I had to give my thoughts afterwards. And part of what I said was, for a movie that's about trying to, I would guess, create a new horror icon, he was, like I said a minute ago, drastically underutilized. But not
Big
only
time.
that, he didn't do much of anything, really. Like, it was really, he does come into play, and we're not going to say just how much he does, but because he does get involved, obviously, but it wasn't what I was hoping it would be. It was, again, a drastic underutilization, not only of what might have been a cool character if they had done it correctly, but the actor playing him, Doug Jones, I was so excited to see what he could do, and they gave him a little bit of time, but not enough to really, nothing to chew on, really, and I maybe at like 30 seconds, you might be able to say he had to chew on something.
There was a couple moments I was like, okay,
maybe,
cool.
but nonetheless, it just didn't. It was like, here's the thing. My guess is this might be another Ouija situation where we get a really kind of lame first outing, or not lame, I wouldn't say, overall unsatisfactory first outing,
Underwhelming.
but underwhelming. They however have set the stage now with a cool character, and they could do something because Carrie-Anne Moss was only in it for 5 minutes, but if this does well enough, they could very easily continue it on using some characters from this movie, and it would be possibly much better.
Well, to jump on your Ouija thing, I would be more interested in that periodic prequel where we see the origins of the Bye-Bye Man, and because there were flashbacks in this. I mean,
That's true.
it starts with a flashback, and I guess that's a minor spoiler, but it starts
really.
with like
It starts with
it starts with the spark of what actually leads these kids
the inciting incident.
Yes.
And that was
exactly
part
right.
that enticed us. It was
Yeah,
like, oh, this
the-
is cool.
The
Yeah.
opening was
Really
good.
exciting.
It was really,
Yeah,
it was,
it
it
was
felt
really
like
nice.
Very good,
Conjuring
actually.
too. Like I was like,
This
ooh.
might be a good time to talk about the
The
lack
effects.
of blood.
Okay,
in the
my God,
movie.
are you and me
There
both
was.
in the same plane
There
where
was.
if someone can get shot with a shotgun and there's
No
no blood
blood.
whatsoever, it's PG-13,
Yeah.
obviously.
Guys, clearly the blood turned to grease inside the body because
my-
there was grease,
The grease spot on the wall.
on the wall instead of blood.
I,
Like,
that I
Was
did
it
not
grease? I
understand.
thought it was just a
was like
it was
dent
just
in the
black
wall.
blue or
smudge.
black.
Like,
Marcia,
it was so
high five
ridiculous.
because that
Thank you for pointing
just
that out.
irritated
It was-
me
was-
so
because it was
much.
prominently
If you
featured.
can't
Ugh.
show the blood, don't use
No,
a
but
shotgun.
they could show the blood a tiny bit. Like there was blood coming out of a mouth, and then there
ear.
were but
Yeah,
also
there was.
there was a very bloody person towards the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That they got
Yeah.
that they got we got a good look
Is
at
there
that
a
person.
new rule like you can only use a gallon of blood in this movie?
I don't know. It wouldn't
for it to
surprise me
be
though.
PG-13
It's like
now?
you get two
Yeah,
F
something
words
like that,
in
yeah.
PG-13.
Well, there was
you
one
only
in
get you
this.
get 1 gallon of blood and 2 F words. That's what you get
That's
to work
it.
with.
Yeah.
They
That's
got
all
all
you
the
got.
heads off perfectly clean.
If you want
Seriously, stop
the
it.
tweens to see this in theaters, that's all you got.
There weren't even any F
Stop
words in
it.
this. It was
There
a
was
very
one. No, there was
there?
one.
Was there?
There was one F word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it felt so bland. Anyway, sorry.
did.
But,
Amen.
please. Acting wise, did we get into the acting yet?
No, I enjoyed the acting.
Again, I like the main kid.
I thought that they did a good job for what they had
I
to
was
work
not
with.
a fan of the girlfriend.
Well,
I thought
She
her
didn't have a
acting
lot
was.
to
I thought
do.
Sasha was okay.
I thought she got a little wooden towards the end with her deliveries.
Maybe
that's
well,
just
that's
me.
because the
She was-
possession was.
I don't
setting
know if that was the
in there.
reason is the problem.
Really?
Like I know the difference between
Yeah.
that and.
Well, I mean, the
and-
thing is-
but-
She's so pretty.
Yeah. The main kid,
You
though,
sound like
he
a
was-
devoted
he was
boyfriend.
really good.
Oh, you're so pretty.
She's
You're
so
you're
pretty.
so
It's
smart and
okay.
so funny.
No. I didn't say that. I said she's so pretty.
I'm quoting
She's
South
so
Park over here. I'm
pretty.
sorry.
Well, but otherwise, any other actors that stood out to you guys? Did you
Uh,
like John, the best friend?
The best friend, I thought it did a
He
good
seemed
job.
like just another. He seemed like a poor man's. Who's the kid that just played Johnny Storm?
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, poor man's Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
That's what he seems
I thought
like.
he did a decent
That's
job.
an
He
unfair
did-
way to put it.
Yeah.
Just a knockoff version, I guess. I'm not sure.
That's worse.
Is it? I
think
don't know.
that's-
Like I wasn't
I
sure.
didn't think he was a knockoff or
Underrated,
a
underpaid version, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I
I don't
thought
know.
he
I
was.
was
I
just
thought he
trying to
played the
butter it
part that he needed to play.
He felt to me like just the cliche jock third wheel who's just there, So.
He obviously put in work in the gym because they featured the hell out of that.
Oh, yeah,
dude
they
looked
did.
good,
Great,
but
yeah.
Props to that.
and
takes
that was actually, if
dedication.
we're talking story, that was one of the only little side stories that I felt slightly compelling was the boyfriend paranoia about the girlfriend and the roommate. I thought that was actually interesting. if
Yeah,
we're
but
gonna
it
jump
was
back
so
to story.
underplayed as well because it was just like.
Really? I thought it was pretty heavy-handed.
Like
it kept
all-
coming up.
Yeah, but well, maybe not underplayed, but is the word I'm looking for. Just
Poorly
randomly,
handled,
like
or...
oh, all of a sudden she's dirty dancing with him randomly, and then
We're all
like.
drinking.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh, look at you and your skivvies, and let's go do it. Like,
Well, yeah, and then the older brother didn't really help things by being like, "What's up with that?"
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just it was awkward.
The older
to
brother
me. I was like, it
character was so
unnecess-
forgettable.
Well, I guess it wasn't unnecessary because they're trying to drive a point, but of the like making him jealous and paranoid and driving that aspect. But I'm just like, oh,
Just
come
planting
on.
the seed.
You know, I actually did like the girl that was sort of the medium, though. I thought she was good,
Yeah.
despite the crappy CG maggots.
Yeah.
I thought.
Which the scene we saw in the movie wasn't even the one in the trailer, which I thought was far more effective.
You thought the one in the trailer was more effective? the
Totally
one in the
did.
trailer looked way faker.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wait, did she have like
I
the
disagree.
empty eyes?
It
or
was
something?
no. It was
It
just.
came
It was
out
just
of her
one. It was
eye
just one
in the
maggot
trailer.
that came out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out of her
It came
eye.
out of her eye.
Yeah.
It did. It did.
It looked
But-
like it.
but-
but-
Here,
no,
no.
no.
The
No,
other
there
ones
was-
were already there.
The
but
other ones were
one
already
did.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
You saw
But
the
yeah,
one
they
that
added extra
crawled
maggots.
out.
Well, then maybe
between
the
trailer and
CG
the
wasn't
movie.
completed at this
Yeah,
time. and they
well,
added
yeah,
more.
clearly, but
Yeah.
but the actress was good. Although, guys, if you think you know the fate of one of the characters from the trailer,
Yeah.
you do. Like,
spoiling
it's-
things, and that's what pissed me off.
it
'cause
was so frustrating. I was like, how are they gonna get out? There's no way they can get out of this, and there was no way to get out of that.
No,
And-
because they showed on the trailer, like, how do you get out of being run over by a train?
And yet that
You
couldn't
don't
have been
I
the
was trying to be coy about it, but fair enough.
But it's on the trailer.
It is,
like,
it is,
in the
it is.
trailer,
That's-
and this brings me back to Marcia's point. I don't think that foreshadowing of the train was specifically geared at her, was it?
No.
There was numbers on the train and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
that,
that
that
No,
was,
and he
that was
even
very
donuts for
irritating me.
explanation.
No, she even asked Faye Dunaway about it because
Mhm.
Faye Dunaway played like the keymaster at the end, like the information.
She had no information.
Not really. She kind of like they
She
made
had,
it
like,
seem like she did, but
semi-information.
But, I
Anyway.
He
mean,
made
Well-
assumptions about her that probably weren't true when he went to go see her to get answers. So
yeah.
well, because
Yeah, and
she's
didn't
the
that scene
sole
just feel
survivor.
so glossed over, like they just sped through it?
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
But
Usually
for-
those scenes are kind of like
Well, but the revelation from the
intense.
scene
That
didn't
was
play into it
forced.
at all.
no,
That
there
was so
Like he
forced.
thought he found a weapon and then he never used the weapon.
Well, he tried, and when
Oh.
he did, he failed miserably each time.
It was-
He's
but
like,
he-
I figured it out. I can beat it. Oh crap! I just killed someone.
yeah, it's terrible.
Well, and then if we could circle back to, I know we always do cinematography.
Yeah,
and
please.
effects.
It was
I actually
pretty.
thought it looked good.
It was
and,
very pretty,
And
yeah.
I loved, I don't know if they filmed in Wisconsin, but I liked the school that they were at. I thought that the weird castle-like building that they were leaving at one point looked really rad. I thought the
The
campus
library?
looked cool. Was
I think
it
it was
the
the
library?
library.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the campus was cool.
Yeah, the sets were
house
really
was
good, the
cool.
locations
Everything
were
looked
cool.
nice, you know?
Yeah,
It was well shot.
It was very well shot and it was well staged too. Although again, even this here's something we have to mention. Obviously, as a horror show, the scares, guys. There were
was,
not
like-
really any like
There was two.
the one that was meant to be scary. His sort of approach in the library was so predictable and like, yeah, like no, guys, we're well past that.
How many times have we seen this before?
Yeah, so that was a little rough. Like it just wasn't scary.
No.
Oh god. Okay, and can we move on to the effects, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog.
Okay. Yeah. The blood effects that we did get were pretty good,
Not bad.
but the whole movie was entirely lacking in CGI except for maybe a projection on a glass reflection or a mirror reflection. outside of that, there was zero CG except for a goddamn dog that the Bye-Bye Man had to have.
It's like a hellhound.
I guess it was supposed to be a hellhound, but it was just a big CG dog that looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like, there was one,
Skin.
the first time we saw it when it was just the
head.
eyes in the darkness, I was like, ooh, it kind of reminded me of the dogs in Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. And I was like, ooh, this could be cool.
I also
Or
like when it
it
sunk
could have been
its
cool.
teeth in
It was
the
also
head of the
reminiscent of the creatures in Attack of the Block.
Okay.
Right? With
Yeah.
the blinking eyes, but the black, ness of if that was scary.
Shout
so
out
I was
John
like, oh,
Boyega.
this could be really cool. But then, no, it was just like a skinned Doberman. Or not Doberman, it was a skin
It's like a
pit
pit
bull.
bull.
A skin mastiff. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Bull
right.
mastiff.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
totally looked like
Yeah.
a skin bull mastiff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it was. What? Why?
To be fair, I did enjoy the look of the Bye-Bye Man when we finally got a better. I thought the makeup was good.
I thought
liked
the blue eyes were
claws. Yeah,
I
but
thought it was
It was
underwhelming.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I
That's
thought
why I'm
you
like, the
would
blue
look
eyes were
cooler.
cool. But
okay,
that was
it wasn't fantastic or iconic
It looked
they
like
were
they
hopefully
just
going
put
for, but it
scars
was
on his
serviceable.
face.
Yeah.
His
just
his
say-
design was a little reminiscent of Voldemort around the mouth area too.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I was much more creeped out by Thin Man in The Conjuring too.
You mean?
Oh,
Oh,
the
I'm sorry, the
Crooked
other one.
Man.
Crooked Man.
Crooked
Crooked
Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
Crooked
even
Man
feel
was
like
way.
it's-
The
I wanna
Crooked
see
Man was
that.
creepy as
I
hell.
want to
Sorry.
see a Crooked Man movie.
Crooked
I-
Man. Oh
Again,
man.
we
I
recently
can't-
found
another
out that the
Crooked
Crooked Man
Man.
was not CG. Crooked Man was not CG.
No.
Except for the transformation from the dog. Outside of that shot, it was a real dude in a real skin-tight suit that was creepy as hell. So
And
anyway.
here we are talking about a better movie.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so this is the problem inherently with the Bye-Bye Man. We've gone on really long about this,
Yeah.
guys. I think we've covered
Yeah.
it. The music is not much to talk about, I guess.
Nothing stood out
No,
to me.
no.
No. So, all right, that's going to cover our thoughts on the Bye-Bye Man, guys. See it at your own risk. Maybe you'll enjoy it more than us. Again, it held our interest.
Yeah.
As disappointed as we sound, it did hold at
We
least
watched
3
the
of our.
whole movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I never got tired. I never got.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how it was
I
going to resolve
wanted it
again.
to get better.
Well,
I
mean,
did
also-
too. I was.
Yeah.
I honestly felt like we were all intrigued and kept hoping it was going to get better.
Yeah.
Yep.
We kept hoping.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
left just enough intrigue for you to keep hoping.
I really think that they couldn't stick to one thing, so they ended up putting too much, and then ended up not giving us enough substance. If that makes any sense, like just like knowing a little bit about a lot of stuff, it just doesn't help in a
And if
movie.
for any spoiler people, can I just say really quick, if you guys want to just mute this real quick to not hear this,
Mute for 15 seconds.
the ending felt so much like a Lights Out ending to me. Just the killing and trying to be sacrificial, putting the gun to his head. I mean, wasn't that reminiscent of the ending of Lights Out?
It's reminiscent of a lot of movies. There's been a lot of horror movies where the person
Well, you
has
had
to
no
kill
choice.
themselves in
I
order to
mean-
try and end the curse.
But as far as a recently praised film, that's I don't know.
You know who did that the best?
Film.
Fallen.
Fallen was great.
With
Yeah,
Denzel
that's
Washington?
true. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Sacrifice
yeah.
damn
yourself.
good movie.
That's a good pull.
Yeah.
Good pull.
Good movie.
All right,
All right.
guys. Well, that's
You're
going to do it. Thank you very much for watching our review of The Bye-Bye Man. Do us a favor and let us know in the comments down below if you're excited to see this or if you're going to take our opinions to heart and just maybe wait for VOD or Netflix, whatever. Let us know your intentions with this movie, please. We're like a father watching a groom here, or a fiance. Anyway, thanks for watching. And again, remember, this episode was brought to you by Germ Spider Designs. Make sure you check him out at facebook.com/germspiderdesigns. He does awesome stuff, including the Little Biter and Horrific Harry right over Marcia's shoulder. So check him out. He's contributed a lot of stuff to the show, and stick around to watch his ad after this. It's worth your time. Trust me. You're going to dig it. So thanks again. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
I'm Brittany Lee.
Marshbecker!
And remember,
Stay
scared.
Bye, man.